What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Macho Movie Madness. I'm Brandon.
I'm Andrew.
And today we've got a little top 10, well, I should say top 5 action for you. We're going to do our top 5 movie villains of all time. And we talked about this a little bit off camera. The way I chose these villains today, Andrew, are probably not as conventional as some might choose. I'm pretty interested to get into this. We won't waste a lot of time because we've got my top 5 and your top 5. And some honorable mentions to go through. Do we want to do this top 5 down to 1? We're going to do like 5 to 1?
That sounds good to me.
Okay, so number 5 for me, and I know people might think I'm wacky because he's so high on the list out of everybody, but I picked Scar from The Lion King.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'd never thought about that.
And listen, it's not a macho movie, but this dude straight up killed his own brother to take Pride Rock, okay? Just saying, that's some dark, dark shit, even for a kid's movie. And that is a sadistic bastard.
Yeah.
So, when you think about the things you've watched as a kid or whatever, that's just a no-go for me, man. That doesn't work for me, brother. Yeah, and Jeremy Irons voiced him. Great. Yeah. Also a great movie villain. That's my number 5.
My number 5 is Warren Stacy from 10 to Midnight, the Charles Bronson movie. Have you got the chance to watch that?
Oh, wow. I have not.
You need to see it. It's on Tubi. The reason why this guy is on here is because, so this villain, he always has an alibi for where he is. He sets up his plans very well. He has a tendency to be naked when he kills everyone. He has this girl that he's seeing from the office that spurns his advances, and so he tracks her down, and when he kills her, the only thing he's wearing is a latex glove and his knife. They're in like this lakeside forest in California, and so he kills her lover, and she takes off, and she's butt naked running through the forest. He's butt naked running through the forest. And it's glorious. Later on in the movie, of course, he gets investigated by Bronson and his partner. And once Bronson gets in and realizes what's going on, he starts stalking Bronson's daughter. And there's a great scene at the end of the movie where they're in downtown Los Angeles, and he's naked chasing after her down the street in downtown Los Angeles. It's
oh my god,
it's wild.
And what year was this made?
83. Yeah, so Bronson's still robust enough to do it. There's a great scene. There's a great scene I want to talk about where, just to talk about how off this character is. Bronson and his partner go to visit him at his apartment, and Bronson's like, "Can I go use the bathroom?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so he's going through his drawers in the bathroom, and he finds this archaic sex toy in there. And afterwards, when they bring him in for questioning, they got him cuffed, and he's like, "Okay, I've had enough of this." And he pulls it out. He's like, "What is this, Warren? You know what this is used for? This is for jacking off."
Oh my god!
And that coming from Charles Bronson makes the entire movie. So
yeah, that's funny.
It's that's the one you need to check out. He was one of my underrated ones on here.
Wow, definitely, that's definitely underrated. Wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah.
When you said he was naked, it reminded me of John Lithgow's killer in Dexter. Because he's always he gets in the tub with them and he's naked, and that was interesting. So I guess moving on to number 4. For me, I put Agent Smith from the Matrix series.
Okay.
First of all, the actor is amazing in everything he's in, and he's not in a lot, but Agent Smith is one of those, like, I don't know how to explain it. But I feel like he's basically an anomaly, right? And without getting into like the whole Matrix thing, I don't even remember all of it, but he's this virus. He basically becomes this virus who self-aware or whatever. He comes outside of the machine world, and he wants to topple it all.
Right.
And I think that's pretty. It's a pretty good premise for a movie series, and I think one of the better antagonists you could possibly get in a movie series like that.
Yeah, and he self-replicates too, which makes him even more dangerous. So,
right, because he's a virus, he's spreading, and I think that's riding over other code is, it's pretty hefty, bro. It's pretty heavy, Doc.
My number 4, I was looking through my DVDs and Blu-rays, and I almost forgot this character. and I'm glad I took a second look. Connell Cochran from Halloween 3. Yeah, mass genocide on the
Yes.
youth of America for Halloween, and he just does
Yeah.
it all with this slight smile. You know, it's just I'm
Yeah.
going to kill all of you, and I love it.
Well, it's just like it's not even so much like a hey, look at me. It's just this is just the way things are, and it's got to be done.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, you know, I'm not sorry, but like, hey, this is the way it is. We had a time getting it here.
I love that character, and I've said it in many of our videos. He reminds me of Mr. Burns when he's in that scene when he's leaning over the desk and telling Tom Atkins his plan. He just screams villain.
Yeah, he's all.
And I almost forgot him, and I would have been kicking myself like when we were done with this video.
Yeah, he's definitely live action Mr. Burns. It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny. I didn't even write him down at all, and I should have. I didn't even think about it. There were so many that I wrote down that I kind of just picked from the crop. And so number 3 should be no surprise coming from moi, and I felt it was a little bit too cheap to put him number 1, so I'm putting him number 3. I feel like that's fair, especially on my list, and that's Michael Myers. I think he's one of the better horror movie villains, and after I don't know, out of all the horror icons, he stands out to me the most. As much as I love Jason and Ghostface and all that, he stands out the most. And there's a few others that didn't make this list that other people will probably be screaming about. But I will talk about them maybe. I might mention them a little bit later during our honorables. But yeah, Michael Myers hands down. Honorables. Well, hands down though, Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost put him on my list, but I knew you would, so I didn't do it. He belongs on this list, but that's why. But yeah, excellent movie villain. No motivation, that makes him even scarier.
Right. Yeah, we're talking Halloween 78.
Yeah.
And even Halloween 2, you know, like that's, even if it's after his sister, like he's just bar none like the most creepiest, unstoppable, just, you know, Terminator like being in movie history. He almost does it a little bit. He's definitely scarier than the Terminator to me. I don't know if he's more efficient, but he's definitely scarier.
Yeah, I could make that argument.
Obviously, the mask has a lot to do with that.
Yeah. Number 3 for me is a little guy named Velos Cohagen from Total Recall. Here's the number 1 guy on Mars, and he's charging people for air. And, you know, they talk earlier about how he's raising prices on air and everything. And he's so diabolical, there's an uprising against him, and he takes his own best friend, Hauser, and, you know, erases his memory and sends him back so he can get in on the inside and take out Quado. And I love that master plan. You know, if you believe that it was real and not a dream, I don't know what side of the fence you're on there. But yeah, I love. I can't remember the actor's name, but I love that actor, and I love the character of Cohagen. And that's not the only time you're going to see a Paul Verhoeven film actor on this list.
These lists so far, I feel, are very us.
Yeah,
you know, with the exception of maybe Scar, I just kind of threw that in there to really put a wrench in everybody. You know, like that was kind of even a wrench to me. I was a 90s kid. Plus, I mean, I'm going to, like I said, there's too many to choose from that I think are probably better. But man, I tell you what, thinking about that as a kid, like, man, you killed your own brother and tried to kill your nephew just so you could take over Pride Rock and then starve your people. Like, you just starved your people. Like, just what a terrible, terrible king, right? Number 2 for me, talking about the Terminator earlier, I picked the T-1000.
Okay.
As much as I love the T-800, as a kid, and even still now, the T-1000 would scare the living piss out of me. The fact that he can take shape of anybody, hide in any crevice and cranny, and run faster than I know I can, for sure. You know, blades out of his hands, and then just, man, I don't know, like, this dude is one of the coolest and scariest villains, I think, in cinema history. So definitely a number 2 for me. And there's only one other thing that'll top it, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit. But yeah, T-1000 high up there.
That scene after Hasta La Vista Baby, where he starts coming back together. It's just
Dude,
like,
you
how
felt
in the
the
world?
dread.
Yeah, how can you stop
Yeah,
this?
you're like, oh my god. Dude, it was such a good chase scene, and it led up to that moment, and then you got the Hasta La Vista Baby. It was just such a good culmination of and you're like, oh my god, what a finish, right? What a finish.
Yeah.
And then, dude, he starts melting and then coming back together. You're like, he's unbeatable. What are we doing? Like, this is crazy. Yeah, it was just like one happy shining moment, and it was just over, and it just, your heart sank. Great movie moment. Yeah, scary villain, man, scary.
Yeah. Well, on the coattails of that, my number 2, I kind of went your Michael Myers route, is the T-800, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger in T1.
Okay.
You know, no pity, no remorse or fear. He's got one objective, and he's going to kill anybody that gets in his way systematically. And seeing that as a 5-year-old kid just scared me to death. And he was
that's no G2.
Yeah, he was like the scariest thing I'd ever seen. You know, till I was about 11 or 12, and I'm like, okay, this isn't scary anymore. So, but
right. You've watched a million times.
Yeah, unstoppable, and that's he's always going to rank high. I almost put him number 1. I'm like, nah, I can't do it. As much as everybody knows me, but yeah, so he's here at number 2.
And, in a similar fashion to the T-1000 in that moment, we talked about this, I think, in our first podcast about T1 and T2. And I think we talked about it then, where the chase and everything led up to that tanker explosion, and then just to see him rise out of the debris. And just his endoskeleton, it was, oh my god, what do we? It's the same, almost exact same kind of concept.
They're very similar, note for note.
Definitely. Yeah, they are very, very deserving to be that high on the list, I think, or that low, however you want to look at it. Okay, so you want to do the honorable mentions, I guess, before we get to number 1?
Yeah,
because I don't know if anybody's going to guess my number 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you're going now.
So I wrote down a load of people, and then I circled the ones that are going to be the ones that would make my honorable list. And this, I know a lot of people are going to be like, "What the hell?" So I put just to be different, like Scar. I picked Gozer from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
You're unleashing an interdimensional pile of demons and ghosts onto the world. Well, New York, which is not much different than the real New York, but let's be honest. but just, I don't know, like something about Gozer, who made a 5-minute appearance in the movie. It all led up to that, and just the fact that it's you can basically bring hell to earth is I don't know, pretty wild, and it's not even in any form. You're taking your biggest fears and making them reality with I don't know how Ray was afraid of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man for when he's a kid, but he was, and he thought it, man.
So what a good movie.
I thought it was a good movie, man. It's just a very interesting, different villain that I don't think anybody talks about enough.
Yeah,
I'll bring up just a few. If you don't care, I'll just run down a list real quick of ones that I've seen on the top of a lot of people's lists. You got Jason, Freddy, obviously. You got Hannibal Lecter. He's the top of a lot of people's lists, or Darth Vader, who's the top of a lot of people's lists.
I never even thought of Darth Vader.
I think Darth Vader's a great villain. But Thanos. Thanos is a big one. Sauron from Lord of the Rings. Wicked Witch of the West. Norman Bates. Patrick Bateman. Jack Torrance from The Shining. Was Annie Wilkes from Misery. Of course you've got Stavros Blofeld, Voldemort from Harry Potter. Dracula. And then another one who's on the top of everybody's list, or towards the top, is the Joker.
Yeah,
and
I thought of that.
I really did contemplate, because I love Jack Nicholson's Joker, and even Heath Ledger's Joker as that like anarchist, like terrorist, just was really, really good, and a really good movie villain. Hans Gruber, another really, really good movie villain, and he just missed out on even there's just too many to pick from. But when I thought about when we're talking about underrated honorable mentions off camera. I'm like, okay, I've got 4 of them, but I got to get it down to 3. And I picked Gozer over Clarence Bodiger from RoboCop.
Okay.
I thought I think Kurtwood Smith is an awesome actor, and I think Clarence Bodiger is a real low down slimy piece of shit. And I think he's a perfect movie villain for that movie. So I don't know. I thought that was pretty good. But yeah. Anyway, what's some of your honorable mentions?
I picked 3. The first one, of course, this is a total Andrew pick, is Roy Batty from Blade Runner. Here's a replicant that he left his planet because he found out his lifespan's up, and he's really killing people to try to get to his creator so he can live longer. He actually has a purpose for what he's doing, and that meant a lot to me as a villain. His intentions aren't noble, but he's just trying to get more life, and so I threw him on here. Damon Killian from The Running Man, the game show host, who I guess the real man wasn't too far removed from that Damon Killian character, exploiting Arnold and trying to get more ratings and financial gain. And then the last one is a total financial gain, and that is Burke from Aliens. Love that character.
Nice.
I believe Chris way back in the day was talking in our Aliens podcast, was talking about how much he loved Paul Reiser, and man, he's good in this movie. Just like a low level corporate executive who's willing to just totally get these women impregnated with this embryo that will kill them to get it back so he can look better for the higher ups. And just so, like you said, Kurtwood Smith, just so slimy. Like, they're kind of similar in that way.
It's so funny. We always go. We just love Arnold movies. If you guys couldn't tell, the villains and everything. And that was one of my other underrated picks, was Benedict from Last Action Hero.
Oh yeah,
what just perfect over the top villain with a glass eye. It's got different different pictures or whatever. You got the bullseye, the smiley face. Just what a great. Speaking of no tolerance for anything, right? No, he's just a villain to be a villain.
Yeah, and kills his boss.
That's kind of what I like about it. He kills his own boss, because his boss is a complete idiot.
Right, Sicilian schmuck.
But he was always he's always a really standout bad guy to me for the type of movie that was.
Yeah,
and then my last one, I was looking at Bond villains. I'm like, there's got to be a Bond villain on here that I'm not thinking of, that I don't remember, because it's been a while since I've seen some of the older ones. And then it hit me because I was thinking, okay, 006.
Oh, okay.
He's out. It's Sean Bean, right? Alec Trevelyan. Great bad guy. Very much a product of a Cold War and a human left behind in that, right? And he's a soldier. He's basically the mirror of Bond. But then I thought, there's another guy who is an exact mirror of Bond. And that's the Spectre soldier, Red Grant from Russia with Love.
Yes.
You got him on the train. Dude, Red Grant is a awesome underrated bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, scary.
Yeah.
And he's a perfect mirror of Bond, I think, in that movie.
Yeah, and I love him in that movie, calling Sean Connery old man, and you can tell he's really getting under his skin.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that was one I hadn't thought about. That's one of my favorite Bond movies, and I didn't even think about it.
I know. Yeah, for those who don't know, that's one of both of our favorite Bond movies. And if you haven't seen From Russia with Love, it's the third Sean Connery. Or is it the second one? Second one.
Yeah, Goldfinger.
Yeah, because third one was Goldfinger. Goldfinger was third. Yeah, my bad. So, yeah, I'm sitting here talking about how much of a fan I am. Yeah, it's the second Bond movie, and I do think it's a lot better than Dr. No.
Mm-hmm. Although I do enjoy Dr.
Very
No
good. I do like Dr. No, and I like Goldfinger a lot, but I think out of those first three, I like From Russia with Love better.
Yeah,
there's just something about it I like a lot better. Let's go to our number one then. Let's wrap it up with number one. Out of all those people that I picked, Out of the people that I read off earlier, I mean, I didn't pick a damn one of them, and everybody else is just like, how do you not pick somebody like, Sauron or Hannibal Lecter or Darth Vader? Well, I'll tell you why. Because, and this, I don't want to, hopefully this doesn't sound like it's cheating, but I picked The Thing. Whatever it is, I picked The Thing because it could be literally anybody and anything in any time.
Yeah.
And you don't know.
It could still look like dead. It could still look like Kurt Russell out there in the ice somewhere.
Yeah, we'll just sit here and see what happens.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good pick. I like that.
But anyway, I thought that was because I mean, after all the scary things that the T-1000 can do, the fact that you don't know, like you can see that dude coming for the most part. I mean, something's not right. The Thing, you don't know at all until it's probably too late.
Yeah. So my number one, it's funny we were talking about things in the ice. My number one was a villain who killed a little over 1,500 people. It's the iceberg from Titanic. No, I'm just playing. I thought I'd do that.
The highest kill count on record.
It's kind of topical.
The highest kill. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're not going to make an implosion joke here. Yeah. I mean, stick around. But no, it's somebody you mentioned earlier. It's actually, I love Clarence Boddicker. I think I've said that on here before. Clarence Boddicker is my favorite villain.
Oh.
Of all time. Yeah. You pretty much said it all. He's slimy. He's working for a boss that doesn't really care how he gets the job done, and you can tell he just has free reign to do whatever he wants. Give that man a hand.
Yeah, he don't care about it. Give him a hand. Yeah, he's just such a dick, even in a sarcastic way. He's just such a dick,
Yeah, give me my
blows a dude's hand off. Gives my phone call. I love that. Yeah, like I said, he just edged out on those honorable mentions, and really truly underrated. Yeah, if anything else, as a movie villain, I think it's those old action movie fans like us, RoboCop fans like us, would probably be like, oh yeah, obviously. But I think just as a general, when you look at a long line of movie villains like this,
you don't look at Red Foreman.
He's not going to be you don't look at Red Foreman. Yeah. So, and this is Red Foreman turned up to 13.
Right.
I mean, this is super Red Foreman here.
Yeah. I've always loved him I've always loved him as a villain. From the first time he comes on the screen there and he takes that guy and says, "Can you fly, Bobby?" and throws him out the back. It's just like, yeah, this guy's the personification of evil. So that's why he's my number one.
100%. Yeah, and definitely one of the most cold-hearted, sadistic dudes in about any action movie I can think of, with no real motive other than just to be a dick.
Yeah.
That I can remember. You know what I mean? Just really nothing, just to cause chaos in a terrible city. Yeah. And to make a terrible city even worse. So, yeah. So anyway, yeah, guys, that's our list. Let us know in the comments what you think. I'm sure I'd love to hear everybody else's top 5 and maybe even their honorable mentions. Let us know that how wrong we were. It's definitely a subjective thing. Yeah, and I love Dracula. But I love all these characters. But yeah, I think when you're just talking about uniqueness and there are things that resonate with you more, everybody's list is going to be a little bit different, and that's what I went with. But I think both of our lists definitely represent us very, very well.
Yep.
But anyways, guys, let us know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.